got another request from this guy. He asking to do a video how to do glass material. Probably he's talking about the glass material on a car. So let's start. Let's make a simple roof of the car. So just very quickly. Something very basic, very simple, without too much sophistication. This is the simplest car roof. What we needed to make it look more car-like. Just have to add a few polygons. I think this will do it. Should be enough. Let's apply mirror modifier and subdivision surface modifier. Okay, now we have a geometry like this. And we need just half of it for now. Okay, here. Let's make this piece of geometry windshield. And let's make this piece of geometry another windshield. Probably. Okay. Okay, let's separate the roof. This is simple roof with windshield and rear window. Okay, just apply shade smooth to all of it. The quickest and simplest way to make a glass material is create first the body material. Okay, this is gonna be our body material, and let's create glass material, simple glass shader. Okay, I usually color it to dark, to black, reduce roughness, and we have to go here to the settings, and blending mode we have to change to alpha hashed, and shadow mode to alpha hash 2. Okay, then we just needed change the alpha, and you see the windshield is become transparent. Okay. For more clear visibility, just add Suzanne as a driver. Okay. Well, for a windshield itself, for a simple material, probably blending mode, alpha or shadow mode, it should be enough none, and alpha mode should be enough alpha blend. Okay. Yeah. And at the rear we can use something similar. Now the car, if you want to make a little bit more sophisticated car windshield, what you can do, you can just duplicate these faces. Cool. Let's go. Let's duplicate it and separate them. And we can color it to just a black, and without even specularity, without reflection. So it's basically there are two geometries. One is the surface, you see how it is, and just underneath there is just a black thing. This black thing, we need it to simulate the frame on the car windshield, like this. It's a little bit simplistic way, but usually efficient. So this is the first method. Well, already second method, but it just makes car windshield more realistic. Oh, I messed up. I draw it on actual glass. We have to draw it on a black material. Give me a second. I'm sorry for that. You get the idea. That's the most important thing. The way how to do it. Okay, now it should be okay. Yeah. Now it looks relatively okay. If you want to make even more sophisticated, more realistic looking, just let me show you the last method. Just delete this black geometry, and we need to copy again this geometry, glass geometry, separate it, and now basically there are two geometries, one on top of it and another just underneath. we just temporarily hide the. First, we have to reapply another material. Let's get rid of the glass material and like this. Temporarily hide the top material. Just hide it with the H button. Now let's apply mirror modifier to it, so we get this geometry, all faces. Select top view, select all polygons, and press U, UV mapping, project view, just project view. Now we have to open the UV editor, and we see our front and glass. We should make it bigger. Okay, align it correctly. Now we can export this UV layout. Go to UV, export UV layout, and let's export to our folder. Let's create one folder and call it textures. Okay, this is windshield layout. Okay, now we have to open GIMP. We start GIMP 2.8 and here we open the layout we created. Okay. Now it's there, it's just not much, there is not much visibility. Let's create new layer and color it white. It's on top of it, so let's move our layout on top of the white. Okay, like this. Now what we should do, we should draw path with this tool, path tool. I'm not going to do it very precisely, and it's always there is always possibility to fix it later, so we can draw it like whatever. Anywhere later I'll show you how to fix positions. Okay, we have something like that. It's disappeared because it's another they call it panel right here. If we click this, I think it's appear again. Now we can edit it. We can fix it. Okay, make it look more symmetrical, like here, more correct. Okay. just for demonstration it's probably should be good enough. Well, maybe it needs a little bit more corrections. Okay. Now we have, well, it's not completely symmetric. I think it's good enough. Okay. Now when we go on the right panel, click right click on the mouse button and select path to selection. And now we have to invert this selection. For that you go select, invert. Okay, go to the layers panel, create new layer and color it black. Okay, now we don't need selection, we don't need this, we don't need white, and we don't even need path. Okay, now we have to export this layout as a texture. Windshield texture. Okay. This looks like basically the same thing, but not completely. Just a little bit later you will see what I mean. Okay, let's open the shader editor. Editor, create new shader, add texture, image texture, click open, and we have to find texture we just made. Okay, this one. And we have to attach color to the base color, connect an alpha to alpha. Okay, it didn't work because we need to change again here the settings. Blend mode from opaque to alpha hashed, and shadows probably similar thing. Now we cannot see our glass because it's hidden. Fix it a little bit. We have to unhide it. Okay. Well, it's basically the same thing, but there are a lot of manipulations you can tell. But texturing this frame on the side of the glass, black frame, it has its own advantages, because real glass, it's slightly blurred and we can imitate it. Just duplicate this texture, go to the filters and blur, Gaussian blur. It's almost invisible, 5 pixels, so we have to add it to make it more pronounced. Let's do it like this. Okay, and override it. Now if we reload this texture, okay, I'm gonna have to open another shader editor. On the Blender memory it's still other old texture, so we have to reload it. You see the difference? Now it has soft kind of gradient and from black to glass. And usually on the cars there is like that. Maybe this one a little bit too much, so we have to reduce it. So we can always get back, Ctrl Z, again go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, maybe not 30 pixels, maybe 20. Okay, let's override, again go to our Blender, reload texture, and this look more accurate. Okay, and with this technique we can even make a sunroof. So what they call it? The thing. Let me show you what I mean. Just draw another path right here. Something like that. Okay. Again, go here, right click, pass to selection, and we need some bluish color. We like that blue. Let's create a new layer, something like this, and we have to put it under. Let's get rid of the selection. We have to put under the black thing. Okay, now it's probably you guessed what it does. We can also blur it a little bit. Let's duplicate it in order to get back to original. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Should be enough too, maybe a little bit less. No, actually here we need a lot of blur. So 30 should be enough, like this. And we can make it half transparent by changing opacity. Okay, like this. Now if we override it, we can get back to the Blender, reload the texture, and look, it has a little I don't know the actual name of it, but you get, I think, by looking at it you understand what I mean. It's a protecting eyes from the sun. This thing on the top of the windshield. Maybe we should make it even less transparent. Something like this. Override it. Go back to the Blender. Reload it. Okay. Slightly more pronounced. Maybe we should change transparency here on actual glass. Okay, now this looks fancy, I think. With a rear window, it's basically same thing. If you wanna keep it simple, you can keep it like this, but it doesn't look okay. So just duplicate it, separate it, Now it's like two geometry very close to each other. Select geometry underneath, get rid of its material. Now apply mirror, select, in this case I think it's more well, it's difficult to say. Maybe we should select back view to make a texture. To unwrap it, press U button and project from a view. Now we should open the UV editor and scale it. Put it here. Okay, maybe we will be able to put all of it to one texture, but well, for now I don't want to make it too complicated, so I'm going to make just one texture. Okay, it's a back view. Again, exporting the UV layout to the folder, to our folder. This is a back window or rear window, I don't know how to say correctly. It's not a windshield for sure. Okay, and it's a layout, so you have to put correct name everywhere. I have problem with this because I don't know English very well. Okay, again, open GIMP. Let's select this texture. Oh, let's save this texture so we can edit it maybe later if we need it to edit it. And open the rear window layout. It's here, we just cannot really see it. We have to create new layer, color it white, move it under, and we see it. Okay, very similar way we have to put path. Again, I'm doing everything very quickly and kind of not precise, so apologize for that. And as I said, and as you probably saw, you can always fix it later. And just to make it interesting, make it like this. This area for additional lamp, stoplight. This area. Oh, it's disappear. It's not. It didn't disappear. It's just in the path. It's the shelf. Yeah, it's here. Okay, just put I and edit it. If you know Photoshop, probably you won't have any problems with GIMP because they are basically similar programs. Just Photoshop you have to pay for it, and this one is free of charge. It's just like Blender, but only for 2D, not 3D. Okay, this I think good enough. Maybe fix basically we can actually do just a half of it, but I prefer to avoid it because if later I want to make a dirty glass texture, or like path where windshield wipers are working, so I need whole windshield, so I can't just make a half of the texture and mirror it. Okay, again right click here, pass to selection, invert selection, go to the layers, create new layers, and color it black. Okay, hide this, get rid of the selection, hide path, go to the layers, and duplicate layer. I do it just in case, I have to get back to the original, so it's just like a backup. Go to the filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and we cannot see preview. Okay, it's here. Well, 30 is too much. Here I think 20, even something like this is enough. Okay, and we have to save this texture as a rear window texture. Okay, export it, go to Blender, and go to the shader editor, create new shader, add texture, open. Okay, and you open this, and one color connect to the base color, and alpha connect to the alpha. Okay, it's not transparent because of the, again we have to change the blend mode to alpha hashed, and this to alpha hash 2. Okay, it's too much reflective, we have to reduce it. Okay, this looks fancy, but again the border is too soft, I have to reduce it. Let's go back to GIMP. Let's get back to GIMP. That's where I needed the original, so this one we can delete, duplicate this one, and filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and even less blur, somewhere around 10 pixels. Okay, almost invisible, but override it, reloaded it. Well, good enough, I think. Maybe we need slightly more blur. Okay, I see why it's not like that, because I turn on the layer underneath, and that's why it still gives me the sharp angles. So let's Ctrl Z, and turn it off, and now we have to override it and reloaded it in Blender. Okay, this one looks close to perfect. Maybe you think why so many problems, why to create so many problems, but only with the texturing. Well, you can always do it with the geometry too, but it's very difficult, and it's gonna make geometry way too heavy. The detail I'm going to make right now. Okay, give me a second. The detail on the rear window, which exists on every car, so you have to keep in mind. With this, we don't really have to draw a path. We can just draw one line. First we have to change color to something brownish like this, I think, or yellower. Or orange. Okay. And if we draw it now, it's too big, so we have to reduce the brush size and draw straight line. It's too thick. Even less brush size. We need it. Just 2 pixels. Okay. Again, I'm not going to make it too precise or anything like that. It is just example. You can always duplicate and move it. This. Merge, then another duplicate and move. Okay, merge, another duplicate and move. Merge. Maybe we did a little extra, but we can always delete it. Okay, and now we have to move it under the black frame, and we can override it, open the blender, reload the texture. Well, they turned out to be more thicker than I expected, because in real car they're really thin, so probably this one was too thick. Okay, that's not acceptable. Let's change it. How to quickly change it? There is no way, just gonna have to draw another path. Okay, duplicate path. I cannot move it. Okay, I figured out. Come on. Distance is too big between them. I really hate when I'm stuck like this and cannot figure out what I need to do to fix it. Okay. Come on. Maybe making geometry was easier. It's just I'm struggling because I haven't done it for a while. Just have to get rid of it. Finally. Merge, duplicate, I hope this will be enough. Okay. In order to draw it on the path, just go here, right click, stroke path, and we need 1 pixel probably. No, oh, we didn't draw nothing because no layer was selected. Stroke path. Okay, now we draw, and it's very thin. Also, there was a mistake. I didn't make a very high quality texture. It's just a 1024 by 1024, I think. What's the size? Yes, it's a small. Well, of course we can change the resolution right here, right now. Let's double it. Make 248 by 248. Okay. And now if we make path, we should use 2 pixels. Okay, now it looks relatively okay and thin. Export, reload it here, and now it does look acceptable. It's barely visible because of the reflections Just give me a second. If I reduce reflectivity, transparency, you can see those lines, heaters heating rear window. Okay, now I think this result is acceptable, even for just a tutorial. Okay, this was how to make fancy windows material with texturing. So if you like it, like it. If you don't like it, you can always leave a mean comment on the comment section below. Till next time. Actually, let's check it with a different reflections. This is look nice, I think. Well, bye bye.